A little bit of something different this evening. I just saw the Mario Kart movie with my son. Or, sorry, Super Mario Brothers. My son is 18. He's a gamer. I am too, quite frankly. Not just slot cars, which is a game, by the way, but online video games. And it struck me while I was watching a pivotal scene in the movie where there was, of course, a race with karts. And by the way, all of the tracks that they were on were rainbow, not black. That's a whole other topic, I would think. But it really struck me that even with the Mario Kart slot car tracks, which have quite frankly been a staple for Carrera for more than a decade now, they've barely even scratched the surface of what's possible. There's a whole range of characters in the movies. Now, obviously, Mario, Luigi, Bowser, Princess Peach, those are like the top four that are represented by Carrera, I guess you'd say. And by the way, we found out when we made a Peach RC and a little Peach slot car that those were actually very, very good selling because, surprise, surprise, girls wanted something that they could race. And yeah, don't kill me, this is what we found. Just anyway, I've talked a lot about making a world for kids to play with, right? And then hopefully that idea of sticking with something that's a moving car on a track would be something that they would stick with and have it become a hobby. Well, you got to try a little harder when you're making these toys. What do I mean by that? Basically, the problem with slot cars is they're not really designed by people who get gaming and who get kids play. They kind of shoehorn in a license onto a kind of typical black track. Now, I know Carrera makes blue track, and that's kind of fun. But let's be honest. I mean, if we're really aiming these at kids, we need to understand kids' play patterns a little better, and we need to enrich the experience that a kid could have, which is why I always talk about scenery. I personally feel that that adds quite a bit. And I mean, I've said it a million times, and I'm going to put Mr. Rogers up here, the little world of make-believe. There's a reason for that, folks. Kids want to have that experience where it's not just the race thing on the track, but it's this whole little world that they can play with. There's got to be sound as a component. There's got to be lighting as a component. There's got to be little surprising things that happen as a component, something unexpected. None of those things really happen with slot cars. So while a kid might get excited initially about a Mario Kart set or about a Disney Cars set or about a Paw Patrol set, maybe, there's nothing kind of beyond that for them to grab hold to and stick with, right? And video games, and I've gone over this many, many times in countless meetings and a few white papers that I've written for companies when I've worked for them, we're not really getting to that experience for kids, right? We're not really making it a whole world for them to play with that they get engaged with. Video games have done a great job with tactile things, with little thumpers, vibrating things in the controllers to give you that positive feedback in a controller. They have great sounds, they have great effects in the video games, and because of that, you know, all of your old school kind of adults bemoan the fact that kids are playing more video games. Well, it's not the kids' fault, guys. I'm really tired of hearing this. I'm so tired of hearing this. And what you have in a video game is a very immersive experience. This has got to be replicated in slot cars somehow. You have to put a little more brain power than putting Mario Karts in a box with black track and calling it a day. I mean, it's worked okay, but it hasn't really gotten us further along. I mean, we've sold tens of thousands of Mario Kart sets when I worked for Carrera, and I mean, you can maybe prove anecdotally that some of those people stuck with it. I know some did. I mean, I would get calls from people year after year saying, hey, we started with the Go set, with the Mario set, and now we're maybe thinking about buying this other set. But it's not really the rich experience that it should be. And adding in video aspects of it, like driving with a phone or what they call digital, it doesn't really even scratch the surface of what slot cars could be to entice kids. Part of the problem, frankly, is development of this kind of thing. I mean, the companies don't have, frankly, the money to really do test marketing, to really do high-end development of stuff, of features in games. I mean, if I'm wrong, prove it to me. Show me something there's no sound in games. They've added them through the app, but if you're adding it through an app, if you're looking at a screen, you're taking away the idea of looking at the track, the thing you've just sold them, but you're making them look at a screen to try to drive the thing. And it's a really, really crap way of trying to get something truly digital, something immersive to enhance a slot car set. There's got to be a way to figure this out. There's got to be people smarter than me and smarter than most people who've been trying to do these toys for so long. Now they've had some success, but since there's so much turnover with little kids, you sell a kid this year a set and his parents this year a set. 2 years from now, that kid's aged out. So you're selling the next kid a set. You're not trying to get those people to stick with it so much as you're just trying to get that initial sale. And then there's nothing really after that to try to keep them in it. I mean, there just isn't. I don't know. I don't know where to go with this. It just all kind of struck me when I was watching the movie. To bring it back to the movie, is the movie any good? Yeah, I mean, it's brilliant visually. The effects look really nice. The way it's animated looks really great. I mean, it's like almost like a live action animation look to it with the color shading, or with the light shading and the colors. I mean, it looks really great. And my son got all the references. There's a million game references in the movie, and it was really fun for him. And I mean, I enjoyed the fact that he enjoyed it. And then I was just sitting there watching, thinking to myself, man, look at all these different characters. Look at all these different carts in the movie. Look at all this different play that kids react to. And how do we do that in slot cars? I don't know. I wish I did. That's where I'm going to leave it. Was Mario Kart worth seeing? The more Super Mario Brothers worth seeing? If you got a kid that's into the video game, absolutely take them. That's the Dave Kennedy Slot Car News short hot take on the movie. Take them. Smoke them if you got them. Take a kid if you got one, and if they like Mario Kart. See you again soon, folks.